What about jib tension?
Okay.
Do you want to cover it?
Don't you like it like as tight as you can get it?
Usually,
No.
yeah.
No.
No, I thought you. Anyway. No, I know. Like I know how to use them. I thought.
I know. Whatever you want to do.
Never mind. Okay, so when you hoist the jib, depending on the wind and just the general conditions that you're sailing in, you want different tensions on it. On the boats that we sail, there's what's called the forestay, and it's just this little cable or wire that holds the mast up when there's no sail up. So when you hoist your jib, the jib itself takes the tension. So you tighten the jib up, and then that cable that was holding the mast up is just kind of loose right here. And so when we rig the boats, often what you'll do is you have one person that's down here, pulling up the halyard on the jib, and then the other person can actually stand on the front of the boat, and they pull back on that little wire. And by doing that, it allows this person to tighten it up a lot more. And so you can get the front edge of your jib tight, and it tightens up the whole mast and everything in the boat. And when it's windier, you want it tighter. When it's less windy, you can have it a little looser. But it's always relatively tight.
What about waves?
What about waves?
Rachel really isn't.
She likes waves.
You want it a little looser so it can bounce back a little bit, power through again, as we said.
Yeah.
It's just saying it's the same trends all over the place.
So the only difference with 420s versus some of the other boats that you might have sailed is that most boats don't have a rig like this where the forestay is just loose until you put the sail up. Most of them, the rig will be tight all the time, and then you adjust the tension with the halyard, but you don't have somebody hanging off the bow like that. So in a 420, it's really important to play the jib halyard to adjust the rig tension to help with things like pointing and, like Rachel said, with waves and conditions. Whereas in a standard rig, you'd change the jib and tension, but you'd change the rig separately. So here it's kind of a one-stop thing. So you use the jib halyard for more conditions than you might normally.
Good point. Especially because in college sailing, we're not allowed to adjust the side stays / shrouds.
So basically,
I was going to say, you do that on land, not on the water.
Yeah, I was going to say.
you can do it.
Well, you can adjust on the water, you just can't. I mean, you can
People
figure out how to stand on the bow of the water, but
Yeah.
it might be somewhat disastrous.
So basically, for those of you that haven't rigged our boats before, basically you want to just make sure this is tight. That's one of the big things I notice if I'm ever like driving around in the motorboat looking at people, is that you can tell that their jib is noticeably loose. So, pulling on it a lot or having someone check it is just a good way to know that it's where it should be. And then when you start going to regattas and stuff, there are people, Ryan and Matt, that have sailed 420s a lot, Lawrence too, can tell you, what the right tuning is for all the conditions. But basically you want it tight.
One last question or no last questions? Questions or comments?
Quick thing, when you're rigging these boats, make sure that you take the vang and the main sheet off. We'll usually tie the main sheet down in the boat when we leave. And so you can hang on the bow all you want, but if the vang is tight or the main sheet's still cranked on, you won't really much on it.
All right.
Yeah, you do this before you put the mainsail up. I should say that. Jib goes up first and then the main.
Crazy thing, even though it was snowing this morning, we're putting the boats in soon. So keep an eye out for that. It could be as early as next week. We need to check the lake conditions again. So just get pumped up, get your sailing feet on, or whatever you got to do. But we'll give you updates as they come.
Before you guys leave, can the new people just come up here? Because I don't know any of you.
This is Catherine.
Yeah.
She's our treasurer.
Can you
She's
If
awesome.
you're helping set up boat day tomorrow, come
just used
over
it.
here. Come see me, please.
Hi, I'm Catherine.
Right. Yeah.
Sorry.
Do I know about it?
David, will you read this? Or do you make a new tab?
Yeah.
Probably not.